Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. This is Steph. It's November the 29th, and I wanted to make something today that used up the leftover ham from the Thanksgiving ham. I looked online and I found this nice website called 101 Cooking Easy, and I will post the link down below. And this is Dave's recipe for ham loaf. Now, my proportions are a little bit different than his, but I'm using roughly the same ingredients that he had, okay? So here are about 4.5 cups of ground ham. Here in my bowl, I just started. There's about a cup, going on 2 cups of fresh ground pork. The one that's a little bit lighter just is because I threw in some onion into the mix. I've got one more little batch to get out of here, including the ham, the ground ham, and the pork. We'll be adding an egg, 2 heaping tablespoons of brown sugar, a cup of fresh breadcrumbs, and this is half and half that I'll be adding as needed. And that's just, you go by feel. And there will also be a little bit of salt and pepper added. So let me go ahead and finish grinding this up, and then I will combine these ingredients and see you then, okay? Well, it's pretty obvious that this bowl is not going to be big enough, so I pulled out my stainless steel bowl, and let's get these things combined, okay? So here's the ground ham. Here is the fresh ground pork with the minced onion in it. Let me see. Here is the brown sugar. And 1 egg. And 1 cup of fresh breadcrumbs. So, let me mix these together and I will bring you back. So out of this mixture, I am getting 3 small loaves of ham loaf. And I decided to make small ones because you know me, I like to freeze things and have them on hand. And I don't like to have a whole bunch of food that is just too much for me to eat. So, here are our little ham loaves. I'm not going to glaze them. I'm going to bake them first, and then I will take them out of the oven and put some glaze on at the end. So here they are. I hope they turn out good. I don't think I've ever made anything like this before, but you can always learn new things. They smell pretty good, actually, I must say. Okay, I'll see you in a little bit. I'm putting them in a 350-degree oven, and I will start taking the temperature at around 45 minutes, okay? Hey guys, I wanted to add that I covered the ham loaves with a sheet of foil. Don't really want them to brown right now, just want them to cook, and we'll take care of the browning and the glazing at the end. Just got my kitchen cleaned up and ready to put this away, and I wondered, I've probably told you the story about my little KitchenAid food processor. I had been praying and looking for one for a long time, but KitchenAid is kind of expensive and it was out of my budget. One day I was at a thrift store, a Salvation Army thrift store, and I saw this. It was a little bit dirty, but I love the color. It's like a cobalt blue. And I took it up to the counter and I asked the lady, is there anything wrong with this? And she plugged it in for me and it worked perfectly. No hesitation whatsoever. So I brought it home, cleaned it up, and I've had it for several years now. And it is a little powerhouse. And it cost $5. I could not believe it. Only $5 for this beautiful little thing. I grind meat in there. I just, anything you can imagine. Nuts, vegetables, bread, anything. as long as I don't overload it. Okay, I'm sensible and just use small amounts to grind at one time, but I just love it. I really do. So that's just one of many, many, many stories of things that God has provided for me over the years. The timer went off and it was 45 minutes, and I'm using this little probe thermometer. And when I first pulled them out of the oven, they were each at least 150 degrees and higher, about between 158 to 162 degrees. So I know they're ready for the glaze, okay? What I have in my measuring cup here is 1 tablespoon of brown sugar, 1 teaspoon of yellow mustard, and I'm going to be adding this hot mango chutney. I found it in the clearance bin over at our grocery store. I picked up a couple of them and have eaten one already, and it's really delicious. So I think it'll make a nice glaze for the ham loaves instead of like just ketchup and brown sugar. Okay? This chutney tastes really good. It has, of course, some mango in it, and then it has some raisins. So, you put a little bit of this mixture on each one of the loaves. I turned the heat down to about 325. I don't necessarily want to really brown the loaves much more. I just kind of want to allow the glaze to get nice and hot and adhere to the ham loaves. So, here we go. Oh, it smells so good. Here's a nice big chunk of mango right there. And a raisin. It smells good. I don't know how it's going to taste. I'm hoping that it'll taste good, but it sure smells good. And because I made just small loaves, you know, I can take one out and maybe have some hot for a meal. Actually, I'm especially looking forward to making sandwiches out of these. I love cold meatloaf sandwiches, and I would imagine that these are going to be just as good, sliced thin and on a nice piece of bread. Okay, so back into the oven they go for about 15 to 20 minutes, and we'll see you then, okay? Okay guys, that's about 20 minutes after the last little clip. I checked the loaves, and I wanted the glaze just to be a little bit more sticky and darker, so I put it back in again. All right, now I hope this doesn't gross you out, okay? But I'm going to tell you something. When I cut the ham earlier to throw in the food processor and grind it up, there were some trimmings that I had to take away. Some of it was fat, some of it was some of the pork rind. What I did was I put them all in a separate little pie pan and baked them off in the oven. There was quite a bit of grease, and I poured it off. But what I'm going to do with this is I will freeze it, and I'll use it when I make some bean soup. I'm all about trying to capture as much flavor as I possibly can out of the things that I cook, okay? And this is one way. This is just going to release a lot of good taste into the bean soup. And so anyway, I just thought I would share that with you, okay? It is not quite as dark as what the camera is picking it up. I don't have professional lighting here in my kitchen, but it's very good. I nibbled on a little bit of it. It's quite good. Okay, I just literally took them out of the oven. Oh, wow. I don't know how they look to you, but oh, they look and smell wonderful. And I'm just going to go ahead and cut a slice and tell you the truth if it tastes good and if I like the texture of it, okay? So let me just put the camera down for a second. I know I should probably wait until it has a chance to cool a little bit, but it's about 6 o'clock and I'm hungry. Okay, let's see how this goes. Let's pick this one right here. That looks good to me. Let me cut one slice in a little ways. Boy, that smells good as I'm cutting it. All right, what do you think? I think it looks gorgeous, and it smells even better. So let me just take a little taste of this. Oh. As soon as it hit my tongue, it was like I don't mean to be corny, but it really was like a burst of flavor, okay? So, the next time you have some leftover ham and you're tired of just sandwiches and stuff, make yourself some ham loaf. It's great hot or cold. It'll keep for months in the freezer. And for someone like me, I just made the loaves very small so that when I thaw one, I don't have a ton of meat to eat all at one time. So, guys, have a nice evening, and thanks so much for being with me. I hope you like this, and I will see you soon.